Now let's move on. From the US-China trade war to the COVID-19 outbreak, ties between Washington and Beijing are getting increasingly strained over the tensions in trade, intellectual property rights and press freedom. And now, according to a survey done by the American Chamber of Commerce, US firms are reassessing whether to rely on China to fulfill the other end of their supply chains. The shock posed by the global pandemic has led to the American businesses actively considering the prospect of an eventual decoupling. In March, in fact, 44% of 25 large US companies in China said that decoupling would be impossible. But that figure is down from 66% in October. And more than 25% of these companies plan to start sourcing some or all of their materials from different locations after the pandemic. This includes other regions within China as well. Only 16% say that they intend to shift some or all of their production outside China. And while 40% of companies said that their supply chains would remain the same. More than 50% said that it was too early to say whether the pandemic could change their long-term supply strategy. The findings offer invaluable insights into how US firms are now reevaluating relying on China for their supply chain needs. Cheap Chinese labor, the country's biggest draw for global-minded businesses, is also increasingly getting costlier. The long-standing trade disputes between the US and China are also heightening political risks that these companies would have to undertake. Some companies, due to the coronavirus disruption, have also begun voicing concerns about the need to bring manufacturing and supply chains back home. It is a sentiment that is echoed by the political establishments in the US as well. Now remember, in late January, US Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross said that the outbreak in China could help bring jobs back to America. He said that the outbreak will help to accelerate the return of jobs to North America. Meanwhile, China too is feeling the brunt of departing foreign capital. Beijing has promised to ease foreign businesses by freeing up bottlenecks caused by these shutdowns. It has called for countries to work together to stabilize the global supply chain. According to the president of the American Chambers of Commerce in China, Kerr Gibbs, US companies manufacturing in China for the Chinese market, however, would be unlikely to move their networks overseas, since the US-China relations have already been frayed by the two-year trade war. Increased political risk is a top agenda item for many US companies operating in China. Kerr Gibbs says that it is regrettable that both countries allowed the pandemic to become a political flashpoint.